I haven't worked as faculty for longer than 5 years, and I work with colleagues who've worked for a lot longer, and they know how hard they have worked to meet standards, teach students, and meet course objectives. But we are also in an era where we need to be able to communicate to the constituents outside the college. How do we measure what a student has learned? So there's the whole issue of accountability, and that could be placed externally upon us by people who aren't familiar with the process, or it could spring up internally. And we have the opportunity to use eFolio on campus as a means to communicate to legislators, to family members, to people outside the campus. Here's what students know and what they can do by the time they leave. In our department, we have the communication certificate that's just begun. And students are going to need, the capstone for that is essentially an eFolio, through which students will need to be able to communicate that which they learned in their core communication courses building up to the certificate. So it's an exciting opportunity for us as faculty to come together and say, what do we want students to be able to have? And we had this with our course objectives, but now we have a new discussion about how would we like students to prove it. And I think that's very important. Those have been good conversations, and we're going to have more of those to come.
So yeah, that's the way we approached it, is from a student success benefit. What can we do as a department to help our students see the goals that they're trying to reach, organize their artifacts that they're getting out of their classwork, and put it all into a cohesive story that hopefully they can use towards future employers. So we're using it as part of that program. We have a lot of students with, say, that are vets, you know, either military, naval, army, whatever, Marine Corps, and they can use their technical expertise in their engineering classes, and they might not have seen that link as well as. And so I think that that helps them view engineering within their goals for themselves and what they've been into, and how do they show that they're strong or weak in those areas.
A little bit about what to put in their eFolio that they have to turn in. They get graded on it, and it's not only things in cosmetology. If you've had other jobs in the past where you had to count money, for example, that would be something that would be good to include in there. As a potential employer, I would want to know that you've had experience in that. Managing people, there's all sorts of different areas that we need in cosmetology to be successful.
They can put all kinds of things in there. So they can put certifications of completion from many of the courses we use in our program. You get a certificate. They use those certificates. Maybe perhaps they scan a copy of their card. There are self-study courses you take that have certificates, so they can keep PDFs on there. Sometimes papers, pictures of them in action in the classroom, things like that.
I think of all the assignments that I have, or most of them, throughout the semester as artifacts for the students. And so whatever they're completing in the class is proof of their knowledge in the course outcomes. So I use eFolio to house those artifacts, and even keep a reflection form in there called a questionnaire, where they take their artifact or paper or whatever assignments they have and reflect on what they learned and what difference it made, and now what are they going to do with that.
I use eFolio with my students toward the end of their program here, the end of their studies. They are supposed to compile a comprehensive eFolio showing all of the projects that they did during the course of time that they were here in the interior design program.
I've used it mostly in my composition courses as a portfolio, either as a final or midterm portfolio, or both, to display what students have learned by the end of the course and how they've met the course objectives. They always think, it's interesting because they always think that eFolio is going to be really hard and really tough to deal with. And, you know, in fact, I think, it's getting easier than ever, and, I'm really kind of surprised more people don't use it.